To add our Capture Image button, let's return to Design. Let's go up and select Survey Date. This is the insertion point, and what we'd like to do is have our button above our survey image itself. So on the left-hand side, click Other Controls and click Button. This will add a new button to our user interface. Now on the right-hand side, select Button Text and change that to Capture Image. So that will be the text that will be displayed on that button. Let's also modify the width and make that 100%. That way it's fully the width of whatever is shown on the screen. And let's make one other adjustment to really make it sharp. You'll notice the current button layout is text only. So select the drop-down, select Image followed by Text. That will modify our properties. Click on Image Name here and select that. We'll go in here to SVG Icon, click Select, and this will bring up our image selector. And if you click in the filter area and type the word camera, you'll notice that there's a nice little camera icon that's available. So click that and click OK. You'll now notice that we have a nice looking icon, and this will be presented before the text on the button, and click OK. Now that we have our button, it doesn't do anything yet, so let's go ahead and add the behavior to it. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this button. And you'll notice that we're in our Action JavaScript Builder. Now I want to remain consistent. Although this is a pretty straightforward button where I click Add New Action and then add it in here, I want to really use the technique where I centralize all of my JavaScript actions in one location. So let's go ahead and click Cancel here. Notice that it says it's been edited, so we're not going to save the changes here. And what I'd like you to do is go over to JavaScript Actions. And this will open up our JavaScript Actions. So now let's create our new action, and we'll call that Capture Survey Image. And the reason I put in surveys, you may be capturing other images. And so we want to be as explicit as possible so it's easy to remember what this action JavaScript does. So click OK. This will tell us our action's created, but not ready to go yet. And click OK. We can now edit that by clicking the Edit Action, and we're back into our Action JavaScript Builder. Click Add New Action, and type the word Image. As you can see, there's a number of different image items that you can do within there. The one we would like is Image Capture for List Detail View. Since we're using a list and a detail view, this is a pre-built one. And notice, really powerful, it can either use the camera or the photo library on the mobile phone. Very flexible. And click OK. This will open up our image capture. Now you'll notice first it's asking us where should it store the information that's been captured. In our case, we're going to select the image control, and that image control is our survey image. So I'll select that, click Survey Image, and click OK. And you'll notice a couple things. It's already set certain parameters for you. First and foremost, it knows that survey image is actually a database field that is what we call blob, where it's actually storing the image data in a database field. So in this case, that's your only selection in this scenario. And you'll also notice that it's telling you what kind of image control, etc. Now what's kind of neat is there's some other functions we're not going to adjust here, but for instance, you can have it automatically create image thumbnails, which is very handy. You can also have it resize the image, so it's exactly the same every time it gets captured. And this is valuable if you want to save space on your server and on your phone in terms of those styles there. Even though we're not going to use it here, we're going to show this in a more advanced course, you'll notice that there are other image capture methods available. So HTML5 works well in the browser. It'll work well within what we're doing here. But you also have what's called PhoneGap, where if you're building an application that's going to be wrapped in PhoneGap, it allows you to capture it not as data that goes into a field, but rather it captures it as an external file. You capture that file name, and then it will synchronize all that back to your back-end system. And then PhoneGap Preferred says, if PhoneGap's running, use that. If not, drop back to HTML. Very, very flexible. But for our purposes, let's keep it to HTML5. And let's click OK. And I'll go capture image into survey image field. So it's very obvious. And click OK. So now we have our new action JavaScript that will trigger that capture of that image. Click Save, and now you'll see it's a green little logo. And we're done here in our centralized JavaScript actions. If this shows, go back to your controls here. Now we have our button that we created earlier. We can double click on that, and now we can actually run that action. So I'm going to click Add New Action. I'm going to click the third item down, Run Action, and click OK. Now we tell it which action we'd like to run. So I'm going to select action name and click the drop-down box. And I'm going to select our new capture survey image action and click OK. And I'll put in here trigger, or actually better yet, run image capture, and click OK. So again, our JavaScript action is supported centrally, but we can trigger it anywhere. And click Save. Now we can test it out. Click Save. Click Working Preview. Select Customers, First Customer, Surveys, and we'll drill down into our first survey. Now you'll notice we have a new button that's available called Capture Image. When I click on here, you'll notice in my case it's opening up a file browser, and that's just the fact that it's running in Working Preview here. When you're running on the actual phone, when you tap on that, it will actually open up the camera and the local camera roll so you can select items from there. Pretty nice. So I'll go ahead and select the survey 1 and click Open. And in my case, well, let me do that again since it really didn't change the image there. Let's go ahead there and click Survey 2. By the way, these images were included in your files. And you'll notice now that it has captured that survey and put that image here. As before, since it's done that, it's told the record that it is dirty. So we can now click Save, Synchronize, and now that new image has been stored in the database in that field and is available. I'm going to go ahead and go back, run that once more, click Capture Image. I'll select our first survey image, click Open. You'll notice that it immediately renders and shows the user what image they've captured. Scroll down to the bottom, click Save, and Synchronize. So now we have our new survey capability built in where I can edit existing surveys and create new surveys. Our next section is just going to be a lot of little cleanup work so we can tie all the loose ends together and have a polished app that's ready to be used by our field personnel.